Okay. This because if everything is good, yeah, you're right about this stuff. I'm going to I'm going to read this stuff and talk about it. Thank you, Cindy. I think that what I did was I think that there's another live stream, right? And I think that everyone's going to that one, Cindy. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm going to go ahead and do a lesson on this right here, Cindy. This is good. Not much, Faith. Is there another stream that I have that's live? Or is this the only one? Yeah, my internet is having issues too. That's why I was wondering. Yeah, my voice is cracking. Hey, I used to sound like a man back in the day, but now I sound like this. I know it's kind of cringy. Okay, because you know what happened is um, I went live on a stream that I had scheduled for 5 o'clock, right? And it wouldn't let me accept to go on it. It was live, right? Then I set up another one and it let me on there, but it didn't show me a time or a starting thing or an indicator of how many people were in there, right? And so I was just live for no reason, just live, right? And I didn't know what was going on, no comments, nothing, right? Well, then I come out of there and I go into the scheduled broadcast, right? And Cindy's in here and everybody's all good, right? And so it's just weird, you know. There's a lot of goofy stuff going on, you know. And so it's a world, you know. It's a strange world, you know. And I can see, I can see. Hold on a second. I always get calls at the worst time. Um, I can see how people are. Okay, let me put this a different way. Jesus told us we'd be hated, right? Christians would be hated. But if you ask a true Christian, right, it's like we're the most forgiving, loving, tolerant people, right? That, I mean, I've never met better people, a real Christian, not these, mainstream cults that abuse people, not that. That's the devil, right? But a real Christian, I will give you the shirt off their back, you know? And so I'm starting to see a pattern, right? I'm seeing a pattern in the sense that people, like, say a non-Christian will come here, right? We're not better than them or worse or whatever, you know. It's just is what it is, right? So you'll get a what's up, Low Plains Drifter? How you doing? Glad to see you. Um, and so they'll come here, right? And they'll ask, um, what's the minimum I have to do for salvation, right? So you tell them the good news, hey, Jesus paid the price for our salvation, and you know, it's a beautiful thing, and we have forgiveness, and we can start fresh, and that's all. Just have faith and believe, right? And then they'll take that, right? Because what they're hearing is, oh, okay, Christians believe you could just do whatever you want, and then you can get into heaven for just with forgiveness. And that's like that's I mean, that's not even close to what we think. Like if you're willing to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, right? And submit to his will and authority for the rest of eternity, well, then salvation is free. It's a gift by faith alone, right? If you're not willing to do that stuff, then you're not, you're not in reality. I mean, like, you're not in reality. If you think that you could, I don't know if I've ever met a person that, okay, well, I'm saved by faith. I'm not going to do anything, and I'm not worried about, eternity or, how God feels or anything God wants me to do here. I'm just cool with salvation, and whatever happens to me in the next world for eternity is just whatever. I mean, I've never even ran into a person like that. But so you'll get that, right? You'll get that type of person. Then what they'll do is you'll have the bad side of, the evil side of the devil, and then you'll have the light side of the devil, and they kind of play off each other, right? Where the light side of evil ends up looking like the good guy against the dark side of evil, and they play tennis with you. And what they hate is a real good person to come in there and throw off the contrast, because it makes their light evil person look bad, you know? And it's just it's a shame, It's a shame that people can't just fall into line. And yeah, the wages of sin is death. I mean, hey, look, if you want to be chaff, right? That's what it is, chaff, and thrown into a lake of fire, then that's on you. You know, that's on you. But if you, right, want salvation, then uh then we then we uh then we roll on to a life where of servitude, of we're gonna serve God. Right. Salvation is by grace, unmerited. That's right. But what does that mean when you take salvation, right? That you're gonna submit to God's authority forever, right? I think people are leaving that part out, you know. Oh yeah, all the wrenches got reset. Yeah, don't feel left out or whatever. It was just they all got reset, and then I gave it all to the young people, the ones that could their reputation could survive banning somebody. And so yeah, don't worry about all that. Everybody's equal in my eyes. I can't even see who has wrenches. Yeah. But yeah, man, we'll get all these crazy people, man, that want to define what we believe. And it's crazy, man, how I never thought that this narrative at the end times could ever be the way God warned us it would be, and not in this way. I mean, I believed it because it was scripture, right? But I didn't I didn't believe it would be exactly this way. And then for people to want to separate things, like, let's talk about this but not that. Let's talk about this but not that. No, it all goes together. It all goes together. Everything, you know. The drama and the Bible and the scripture and everything, it's all one thing. We're in it. We're the people in the Bible. That's us in there. That last part is about us. All the crazy stuff and the visions and the beast coming out of the sea, that's our life. And it's starting. And it's getting crazy out there. And there's all kinds of goofy things happening. And sometimes when people are hating me or talking about me or barking at me or having 24-hour live streams about me, sometimes I really feel like, man, are they talking about somebody else? Are they really talking about me? Like it's not even close to what's true, you know? And I never thought in a million years, right, that it could be like that. I've always been a peacemaker, you know? I've always been the type of person to, create peace between people, right? Like, oh no, he didn't mean that. Oh no, this is what he meant, solve all the communication. What yeah, you know what? There's a list of people. There's a list of people, man. And yeah, and it's yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, the government said well, yeah, come on, man. Chris, they didn't stop cloning. If they can clone, right? Which I do believe they can, right? If they can clone, they're doing some there's always a mad scientist, man. And just because there's laws against us doing it doesn't mean that they're following that, Well, it's weird, I mean, Jesus said it would be like this, right? No matter how good we are, right? The world would hate us. The world would hate us and we'd be divided, you know? I mean, if you want any part of this world, if you want this world to keep going, right? Then you need to rethink your situation. If you don't want to carry on to the next level where we belong, if you don't feel more comfortable if God came back, right? Then it's time to rethink, you know? And if you're in the majority on anything, right? Then if you're in the majority on anything, then you better rethink your position on that too. So, Alex, you think that the sheep cloning was a hoax, right? And I'll say this. I don't know if it is or not, but I'll say this. If they can do it, not only are they still doing it, they're doing weird stuff because that's where it goes, man. People are sick, man. People are sick. If you can think of like, something going to the furthest spot of depravity, right? That's where it goes. People are more likely to do something evil than to do something good for humanity. And the sad part is if you did something good for humanity, they'd probably kill you. So try raising kids in that type of a reality, You know how hard it was for me to tell my 8-year-old son, I think he was either 8 or 10 years old, that wasn't fair, that there may be a day that he's going to come up with the best idea and think of the best plan and have the best way, and they're just not going to go with what you want to do. They're going to go with something else for some other reason too. Maybe because it's the boss's son, or maybe because that person's better looking than you, or some arbitrary reason, right? And it's crazy. Well, I haven't really looked at the likes or dislikes. I don't even know. I mean, once in a while, like I see it with my eyes, or whatever. But like, I don't ever like look at that. That doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, the subscribers mattered to me until I got to 1,000. Now I don't really care. And views matter to me because it helps me quantify how many people I'm reaching. But if there was a better way to measure that, I wouldn't care about that either. And then I do care about the demographics, like what's the mixture of people, age range, and gender, that kind of thing, because then it helps you like tailor a message, right? And so it is what it is, right? Yeah, none of that stuff means anything. I mean, look, if that stuff means something to you, then you need to reform your priorities. In fact, I put the alerts on my phone for when I get a Facebook message for it to beep, and I intentionally not look when I hear the beep. Because I don't want to do what they want me to do. If it beeps, I don't want to look. That's when I don't look, and when it doesn't beep, that's when I check it out. Because I'm not going to let them train me like a dog, man. You know, and that's what's happening, man. That's what's happening. You put your phone away, and then all of a sudden, beep beep, and you got to pull it back out, or it beeps, and you're like, oh man, I wonder what that is. Can't wait till my break so I could check to see if there was that one message I'm looking forward to. You know, I mean, they do, Faith. They train us like animals. Like how they did that Pavlov the dog. Every time they rang the bell, the dog would start salivating because he knows he's going to eat. And that's just craziness. Why you got to call me a chipmunk? What did I do? Uh, yeah, I know. You're right. You're right. And it's just so crazy that you'll get so many people that are not Christians that'll ask you, what's the minimum that I have to do to get saved? And then, go tell the world, oh, this is what they think. You just get saved by faith, and then you can just do what you want. You know, they don't feel like you should have to like change your behavior or your attitude or any of this. Yet, well, yes, you do. You got to submit to God's authority for eternity. So you better get used to it now. Yeah, salvation is free, right? But part of that is accepting that you're not the boss of anything. And like Tom brought this up, and a a message that I have adopted is like my motto now. Is that I can't wait to wash feet. I can't wait to go to eternity and wash feet for the rest of my life. I can't wait. You got to drop the ego. That's it. Egos and attitudes get in the way. You know, Forget about how you look to other people. Forget about how it sounds to other people. You got to be authentic, right? You got to be authentic. Do you really love God? Do you really believe that He came here, lived a sinless life, died, came back to life, right? And ascended to heaven on His own authority? Do you believe that happened? Right? To me, that doesn't sound like a little something. That sounds like a lot of stuff to believe, you know? And it doesn't sound like free heaven. It sounds like the greatest human being that ever lived, right? God in the flesh, right? Had to live perfect for 30 years, right? And then be, brutally beaten, I guess he wasn't murdered because he sacrificed himself, but brutally beaten, killed, right? And then come back to life, right? I mean, that doesn't sound like a little price to pay. I mean, I wish I was, part of me wishes I was there to pull him off of that cross, and hold him, That man was thinking about you. That man was thinking about me, about everything we've done wrong. He's getting blamed for it and taking the heat, you know? The worst possible. Well, no, he was murdered, right? But he sacrificed himself, right? In the sense that he could have stopped that anytime he wanted and walked away. So it's viewed more of like an achievement that he did for humanity than a murder. But yes, he was murdered. You know, and it's horrible. It's horrible that people think that that's nothing. There was one rule, in the garden: don't eat from the tree, right? Or whatever the sin was in the garden that you want to believe it was, right? And they couldn't follow it, right? Man fell, and Jesus said, "I'm going to take the punishment." It's simple as that. Adam fell, Jesus fixed it. If you want it, we can move on to something better. But people get caught up in I shouldn't have to do this, I shouldn't have to do that. Why do I have to admit that I'm bad? Why do I have to ask for forgiveness? Well, you do. That's the way it is. And I tell this story a lot, and Cindy reminds me about it. Is we could have been invented by some purple monster, right? Created by some purple monster that just wants to eat us, and that's his business, right? But no, we were created by a perfect creator that doesn't lie to us, that always comes through, that you know did everything for us to reconcile us back to him, right? So that we can go be in perfect contentment in paradise for all of eternity. And it's, I want to keep it simple. I want to tell people the minimum stuff. I want to tell people the good news so that a new sheep could say, hey, I could do that. And I want to be part of your group and talk about God. I don't want it to be overwhelming and advanced and all that stuff, right? I pray about every move I make here. I don't make any decision on my own. Some people I give a lot of tolerance to. I know what they are, but I give them a lot of tolerance, right? Some people I don't give a lot of tolerance to, right? It's nuanced, right? It's not cut and dry a pattern for everybody, right? And you know, it, you know, I love everybody, right? And I love people that want to help. I've even prayed for specific types of help and gotten it. And it's beautiful, right? But you're always going to get someone from the peanut gallery, right, that can do it better, or that knows a better idea, or that wants you to do it different, or wants you to go longer, or wants and that's great too. And it helps me get better, right? I like the criticism, to be honest. I mean, it's hard to hear sometimes, especially when I'm tired, but I'm ready to hear it. How can I do better, right? But don't think for a minute that this is easy and that anybody could just do it, because I don't believe that. I don't believe anybody would want to do it. Not that many. I don't think. It takes all of my time, all of it, you know? And I feel good inside about it. Cindy, why are you too far behind? What do you mean you're out of sync? Oh, they're talking about serpents, and they're talking about oh yeah, hey, homeless in America. Don't worry about that. It's a couple bucks here and there. There was people that were there for me, when I needed help. Some people in this chat have helped me. And so, you know, you know, I want to be a good type of person that people want to help. And so, walk the walk, instead of just talking the talk. It is what it is. Um, no, so but here's the thing, right? Like everybody's helped in a big way, right? And I think that, it can only get better, right? The more we do, right? Even if it's just a little thing, right? Even if everyone talked to two people and 10% of them came here, right? Talked to 20 people and two people came here every day or whatever, that would be humongous, you know? And so, yeah, no, I know, buddy. I know, buddy. But I've been out there too. I was, a little personal story. I was homeless for almost a year, and it was before I found out about the VA, and after I got out of the military. I kind of had a breakdown after my wife left me. And well, I couldn't stop drinking when I got out of the military, and my I don't blame my wife for wanting to leave. She told me to quit drinking by a certain date, and I couldn't. And God bless her, she was strong enough to leave, right? And I kind of had a breakdown for like a year. I couldn't get myself together, and then I found the VA and got back on track. But I lived out of a duffel bag for like 10 years, going place to place, town to town. And yeah, not having a home stinks, right? I've been at this place now like almost 10 years, 11 years, but um, I've been almost everywhere, almost everywhere in America. And well, no, I don't know about that, man. I mean, wow, that's kind of a weird statement right there. So, how did you find us, man? Yeah, I mean, I guess it does. I mean, like my time in the mill, I didn't deploy, right? But being a wife of somebody in the army is a tough job, man, just in the sense that there's so much responsibility, things to look after, equipment to have, you have to be places on time, early, right? Like there's a lot that your wife has to sacrifice too, And so, and we did move a couple times, and um, I would say she sacrificed just as much as I did, you know. Yeah, there was a troll that said something about Jesus was a zombie or something, which is ridiculous, and I don't know unless there's some weird definition that I don't know. In this world, who knows? Everything's so backwards and upside down. Yeah, it's crazy. And TV has ruined people, man. Yeah, hey, yeah. But yeah, not only yeah, oh yeah, this is what I told everybody, Alex. Don't even time people out. Just ban them from the channel. And if it's somebody that we know or whatever, I'll unban them after. They'll get a fresh chance. Because why should we play games with timing people out? We're all supposed to be grown, And that's but hey, look, I mean, yeah, we could say that about him and it's true, but and so I agree with you, but I'll say this, right? TV has destroyed people, man. TV has just ruined people to the point where I bet there are people that believe that. I bet there are people that believe that. And so, I mean, it's almost at the point where how do you know who's how do you know who's being real or not, because I know that there's some people, right? They start from a very depraved spot, right? um they're not exactly the model new sheep, right? Well, I mean, if they're not the model new sheep, then we gotta work with them, help them grow, but if someone's going to come in being just ridiculous the first day, then they're obviously not trying to get any help or get better. Hey, yeah, yo mama, how you doing? Hello, everybody. If I missed you guys coming in, we got a lot of people in for the afternoon show. This morning show was like 8 people. It was very quiet. It was very relaxed. And yeah, I mean, look, if you ban somebody, then I'll fix it later. Yep. No timeouts. Just banning, straight to banned. But it is what it is. Well, words and parables from the KJV, right? Well, I mean, the good one, right? I think is the landowner, right? That goes and picks up workers in the morning and agrees to pay him 1 day's wage, right? 1 denarius, and they start working on the land, and then he goes out and there's more people still standing out there. He picks up some more people and brings them to the land, and they start working, right? A couple hours later, he goes back out there, and there's still a couple people that haven't been picked up. He picks them up too, and brings them back to the land to start working. And then when it's time for them to all get paid, um, the ones that got picked up last got to go get their money first, and they got 1 day's wage. And so the people that were there a long time thought they were going to get more when they got up there. But when they got up there, they got 1 day's wage, same as everybody else. And the landowner says, "Well, I paid you what I said I was going to pay you. I didn't do you any wrong. I could do what I want with my money." And that's kind of sets a precedence that no matter when you get saved or how long you've been faithful to God, right? We are when we go to heaven, we get the same thing, right? We're all equal, right? It's no one can boast to say they did it better, right? And I think that that's important. I think it's important to know that, right? And or read the parable of the prodigal son, right? Where you'll see just how much that you can really go astray and come back, and God is happy to see you come back, right? Doesn't punish him. He puts on the big feast, right? Puts a ring on his finger, celebrates that he's home and safe, right? And so that sets a precedence too, right? Or the thief on the cross, right? Where he accepts the Lord with his last breath, and it lets you know just how long you can push that, right? Till you have one breath left, right? And so, yes, it shows you how far you can go, right? How much you can push it. But the idea shouldn't be to push it that far, right? It should be, wow, I feel safe because I know that God won't leave me. God will do everything He can to keep me in line. You know, and I think that that's important. I think just reading or listening to the Bible is important. Just get it on our heads. Get it in our heads the most we can. That way, when a situation comes up, the right thing will pop in our heads. The right thing will pop in our heads for what we're supposed to do or what we're supposed to say to somebody, right? Parables should be able to fly off our heads like we should know them. I mean, we should know what they mean. We should know, um, what Jesus wants us to do and how to behave because he had an idea, right, of what you could be, you know? And, I want to be that, I want to be what he imagined me to be. I know I'm not going to ever get close to that. I know that's not reality, right? But a lot of me wishes that I could. Well, in heaven, it'll be a party. In heaven, it'll be a party. And so, welcome to all the new people. I would say that, you know, try to be respectful. And, I know reality, right? I know what happens when you get an influx of people, right? But I'm hoping for the best, right? I'm hoping that somebody's real. And I think that that's wonderful, you know. I think it's wonderful. And if you're lost and here trolling, well, I hope you hear something that makes you want to go seek a teacher, someone that teaches about Jesus, you know, someone that teaches from the Bible. And we had some teachers here in the chat that used to come all the time that, do a nice job, I think, you know. And this is a good like discussion group to where, we talk about all the truth, right? Like the truth of the Bible, the truth of what's going on in the world, the truth of our cosmology, the truth about science, right? We don't have to pretend that anything is oh yeah, witchcraft is banned too in here. So like if something's kind of goofy looking, that's bad too. It's cold steel. I don't know. I gotta back my man Alex D though. And so I just hope everyone hears what they want to hear, and or hears what they need to hear about God and wants to seek him honestly. Because if you seek God honestly, you'll find him, right? But if people want to play games and look for loopholes, right? The Bible's not going to make much sense to you. It's going to look like there's all kinds of glaring problems with it. But if you believe, right, and you seek God, right, everything will make sense. Things will start coming to life that like you're like, wow, how is this book coming to life in this exact way? I mean, it's amazing. It's beyond magical. Magical would be like an understatement. I wish there was a better word. I mean, supernatural is a good word, but um, super. I believe that everything's just natural. God is natural. They call it supernatural so that they could, remove God as a variable in science. Like in science, God can't be the cause of anything. And the reality is he's the cause of everything. So even if you have like a cause and effect relationship, you're still not in reality with science. It doesn't explain everything. And for us to try to figure that stuff out is, you know, kind of, I don't know. I think it's a fruitless thing. To see, this is what always bothered me about science, right? Is they could teach you, about the muscles in your arm, or they could teach you about like, anatomy of animals and stuff, or whatever, right? They don't have to give you a creation story. They don't have to give you, you know, yeah, right, but but they do, and um, if anything costs money to do and it's not right, well, then it's evil. It's evil. I mean, the fact that we were told we come from a monkey and we live on a spinning flying ball, I mean, it's probably the reason that a lot of people don't believe in God and are going to lose their soul. And do I want everyone to make it? Yeah, of course. I want everyone to make it and everyone to act right and people not to make mistakes. I wish I never made mistakes, but I do. But when I'm wrong, I feel bad about it. There's some people that do wrong and they don't feel bad about it. They keep rolling, you know? They hit your car and they keep driving, you know? I have a God that convicts me when I do wrong. I stop and I give you my insurance information, you know? You could take that however you want, but everyone's welcome here. Everyone has a fresh start here. Everyone is, to an extent until you get like if you're in the way of the mission, then yeah, then you got to go. But it's better to just come and listen if you're sincere. or meet some people and, support each other, right? Go to each other's channels and stuff. Hey, Darlene, it's so good to see you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you made it to you made it to the last 5 minutes. This was a good one today. It was like a pretty full chat, and everyone got along, and I like that. I like the vibe. Shamanism is not the way. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, really, everything's almost the work of the adversary, right? Nowadays. And see, I don't blame everyone for that, because I know that some people can fall into something not knowing that it's evil, right? And then they see like how like mainstream Christianity, right? The big big organizations, how evil they are, right? And then they want to attach that to us, right? Well, you know, that's a business, man. That's evil on its best day, probably. It's probably the biggest enemy of God. And it is what it is. What do you mean, blaming DNA? I want to figure that out. I want to figure out that out. What does that mean? I want to know what that means. It's definitely YouTube for you. There's always got to be some people acting crazy, right? That's right. That's right. Hey, Umbrella Corporation, even though I've never seen you before, that's right. Welcome. Okay. Yeah, I mean it's yeah. Alex D, that's the long and the short of it, isn't it? That's the long and the short of it. And I think there's like a reason for that, right? Like because there could be some that could come off as like super super nice, or they could trick you, they could bring you in, right? And then hurt you that way, hurt you with your own compassion. And yeah, you're right, homeless in America. I think these big church organizations, and I'm careful to what I say, because I think there's people that go to them that probably some of them are saved, right? And probably good people that love Jesus, but a lot of these big church organizations are evil. And it's not just one church. It's not just Catholicism or Mormonism or it's all of them, man. It's all of them. And it's nobody's fault, right? It's nobody's fault what we're told. We believe it. We believe everyone holding the Bible is supposed to be a good person that has our best interest in mind. But 9 times out of 10, they're trying to trick you. And that's crazy, right? That's crazy. What I mean, that's one thing I never understood, is why someone would learn the Bible so good, right? And then use it uh, to hurt people, you know? Yeah, that's kind of unfair, Crafty, to say that about Chris. Chris is a pretty nice guy, actually, to be honest. Sometimes when we're on YouTube, right, we don't know each other, right? It's like very like superficial on the surface, right? And we don't know all the variables of what somebody's gone through, or what they're like, or how they talk, or if they're sarcastic or whatever, right? And a lot of times there's so much miscommunication, right, between people that probably would get along. And yeah, it's all of them. You're right, Faith. It's all of them. It's all of them, right? Every denomination, right? I mean, it's hard for me to see. I mean, there's probably some good pastors that make money, right? That they have to do it for a living, right? But I mean, to really include money into that, right? It really changes. It really changes what you can say, right? And yeah, it's that's right. Nobody's perfect. We all had to start somewhere, right? That's right. Thank you, Shannon, for saying that. Yeah, it's not good to be bad, but it's okay to start from where you are and grow. And it's not our fault what happens to us and what we're told, right? And what we're taught. But it is our problem to deal with, right? Once we know that there's a different way, and it's a truth that is independent of anyone's belief, right? When Jesus was a belief of mine, right? I love Jesus, right? But now Jesus is an objective fact, right? And it's a whole new kind of love, right? It's there's no there's no mistake about that. And see, when you guys get into fights and little tiffs and all that stuff, right? Like I'm glad that I'm in contact with most of you, right? And that we can talk about it, work it out later if you want. And so I get that. But you have to know that if you bring up goofy stuff in here, right, that you're going to attract attention, you know, and that's just part of it, right? Yes, Jesus did come in the flesh and die for us. Crafty, that's not a good answer. That's not good, Crafty. But anyway, it's time to round out. We made it through another 45 minutes here at the Good Servant channel. Time for me to hit the old dusty trail. God bless you guys. And I do have love for all of you, and praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace. And all glory to him, right? All glory to God, and he deserves it. And I'll say that, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and pray for the children.